Hey, how's everybody doing today? Hey, Shammy. Hey, Ryan C. Hey, Nicola. Thank you so much for joining me today. What up, Tone Loke? My name is Big Chonis. It's been a while. I'm happy to be with you talking some Bitcoin on this Sunday, October 28th, 2018. Guys, you guys can follow me on Twitter. I am Big Chonis there. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm a crypto trader, a mentor, a investor, a chart psychologist. Please do your own research. All right, guys, a couple tweets I want to reference. Let's see here. Actually, let's just get right into it, shall we? Let's pull up the chart. I'm on Bitstamp here. I'm still using the USD charts, not the USDT charts like Binance or Bitfinex until Tether gets closer to a one-to-one with the dollar, and we're still at 98.70, so we're still sub-dollar on Tether, our stable coin, right? So we're going to keep an eye on that because we're still seeing a differential in the charts based on the price, and the real price of Bitcoin is the price you can liquidate it for Cash App. So we're going to stick with that. And actually, I'm going to use my Coinbase chart for now. So we're on the daily, and we're going to start with the daily. We're going to look at a lot of time frames. We're going to look at a lot of scenarios. And we're going to get a sense of where we're going to end this week because we are ending the week in a couple hours. We got 5.5 more hours left in the day for this week to end. And the month is only 3 days away. So we're going to go into November with what kind of mood. So on the daily here, and pretty much we can look at since we had our Tether FUD, which had our Bitcoin pump back on. Wow, it seems so long ago now, October 15th. We have had this range, this incredibly, where we go, price range, type price range here, of about $137. And this is so long to have this tight of a price range. I don't think I've ever seen it before. A lot of people are saying that in the history of Bitcoin, they've never seen this kind of a tight price range other than a couple times. So this is not necessarily unprecedented, but it's definitely rare in what we've experienced most recently in our price action of Bitcoin, and we keep on telling ourselves that something's about to give, right? So we're looking here at our Bollinger Bands. Now on the daily, tightness is relative at this point. We were really tight here a couple weeks ago. We had a bigger move. We're still wider from a percentage standpoint from our high and our low Bollinger than where we were over here, so we can still get tighter. Notice our top one, we're still angled down, even though our bottom one, we're just slowly beginning to angle up there. So all we're reading from this is that we're extremely tight still. We can go back even farther in our time here back in the summer. We see our tightness here. Okay, now when we have these sideways patterns, we had our ups and our downs. We've had nothing like what we've been experiencing in this past 2 weeks here. This dead stick, every little bull pop has kind of pulled back, been sold into every little dump. You just keep finding the equilibrium over and over again. Now, our last couple candles have gotten interesting. Our volume is just so low. And our candle bodies are so tight. And this just can't keep going on. That sounds pretty good. This just can't keep going on for that much longer. So what are we looking at here? Now we're looking at our middle Bollinger is declining. We actually closed above it on yesterday's candle. This is our current candle right here. Our yellow line is our EMA 12. Now we closed above our EMA 12 for 2 days in a row. We're currently under it intraday right now. Our EMA 26 is here. Notice our last wick out point was our MA 50. Right there. Remember, we wicked out on our bigger move somewhere in the MA 100 area, which was this blue line right here. And then when we had a little bull pop I mean, we're talking what, like $50, but still, relatively speaking, these upper wicks are what we're dealing with right now. We see our MA 50 on our daily on Coinbase continuing to get rejected and rejected. That is notable. Look at a couple things here. RSI I mean, look at this. There we go. Dead stick here. What do I got here? Oh, interesting. So we have our little triangle here, right? And we clearly see our lower lows. Is this a neckline? Is this a neckline for some sort of an inverse H&S? I mean, I don't know. We have a higher highs, and we still have a chance to go a little bit longer. Let me get this very accurate here. Yeah, that's good there. And pull that into there, and then I'm going to pull this back to there. November 1st. Wow, look at that. So we go horizontal, vertical. So November 1st is where this apex could still take us in our daily RSI before a decision really has to be made here. Now we're always sub 50, meaning we're lower than we want to be in terms of a bullish momentum situation. When we can get above 50, okay, that's where we can really break out, right? We can break out. We can break out. Little breakout, and then ever since our 50 line has been acting as resistance. Okay, this is nothing changing here, and this is not said like there's. This is. It's not like it's prepping like there's two schools of thought here. We're basically going sideways because we're accumulating, right? Because we're about to just bounce one more time, or we're going sideways here because we can't go up. Like maybe the sellers aren't ready to sell yet, but the buyers surely aren't ready to buy yet. Can you call this accumulation when our OBV is basically flat to down? We do have a lower OBV. It's debatable. It's slightly lower. We definitely lost a lot from our spike. Pretty much holding stagnant there, but we're definitely not rising on that. Notice our Stoke is angled down. Now we haven't gotten a full reach of our Stoke since August here. Our last run we only got to 97. This time we've only hit 86. So is this just a lower low, or is this just wow? We have one more. Do I have anything here? Yeah, one more little runner to get up to here, our 100 line, before we actually then do a reset. So is this showing us we have one more little pop higher just because we have the running room, or are we actually looking at this info line? What's new? Oh, look at that. Oh, that's new, TradingView. Look at that. We got angle, distance. Ah, good for you, TradingView. That's neat. Are we still putting in a lower low here? In which case we don't get this high in our angles, but we actually get something like here where we actually find resistance, on this plane of a lower low at, now we know, 15-degree down angle. That's interesting. I like that. So where's the regular one? Oh, just trend line's the first one. I see. Okay, that's cool. So let me get rid of these guys here, clean the chart up. So these are our two options still with our Stoke, but regardless of that, all we do see is that we are angled down. Maybe this has had its run because we're putting in a lower low, lower low, lower low. And we used all of our sideways price action to complete this run up, This last run we had here, okay, the price of Bitcoin rose from 61 to 67, $600. This run we rose from 61 to 64, $200, 250, and had a full run of the stochastics. Our MACD, the littlest of upper histograms, right? We're still angled bullish. We have a spread here. It just, it's not moving. It's literally not moving. It's like lifeless. It's almost like Solo in the Carbonite. Just frozen in time until it gets unfrozen and can really rocket ship or cross over bearish again and continue its downward momentum. Remember, we've still been negative all months of September and October. Are we ready to break up yet? And even if we go up, are we going to hit this resistance at zero line once again, which we did here? Who's in the chat room right here? Let's see. Beetlejuice, James Ashmore, M. Mulls, Quincy Lane, Shammy, John Wasif Waloof, Christian Harden, Jeanette, what's up? KCK, Long Range Crypto, SXC Fitness NY. Ryan C, thanks guys. XTX Crypto, Spiderweb 23, yo. Thanks for joining me. Let's keep it going. Looking at our OBV here. Now we did break through this triangle line here, resistance. We back tested it as well, and we're still hovering above it. You know, still kind of hovering above it here. This could fall again. This feels like it wants to fall again, doesn't it? I feel like it wants to do something like that, doesn't it? It does. You know, we can do this for sure, but it just feels like it wants to retest this line lower, maybe complete the apex. And again, that takes us into November as well. And our truck and money flow, I mean, look at this. I mean, look at this. You know, we put in a low, we put in a high. We bring this down, right? And now we put in a lower low. We had a higher low for a moment, right? And then we rolled over. We rolled over. Now look where we are. We're down here. And we see we can go lower. We see we can go lower or even lower. You can get down to here, the -2, the -1.6. We're only at the -0.08. So this has room to fall. You know, no money's flowing in this thing, and the price is holding up. Suspect. All right, let's take a look at a couple other things here. Let's go to our longs and shorts. Now, longs and shorts, what we're looking for is who's loading, maybe? We're looking for chart patterns. You know, moves outside our standard deviation. The only thing that's sticking out from percentage-wise today, Litecoin shorts. Oh, we'll check out Litecoin shorts. They're down about 8%. That's interesting. Okay, so looking shorts over here. You know, we're still not that far from ATH zone. We're at 31. ATH is in the low 40s. We found support on this line here, MA 100, right there. Lower Bollinger touch, upper Bollinger touch, lower Bollinger wick. Still ranging sideways. Now our longs were very oversold, bouncing twice outside the lower Bollinger, and they were wide too. Okay. Also, RSI found support here in a 30. All right, so now our RSI is back up to 50. It's a pretty big move there. And yet we're seeing a decent move with our longs. You know, longs have been adding. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Keep it sideways to get longs over leveraged. But shorts are chilling. You know, there are short contracts still being held. I wouldn't say there's loading. You know, the short chart looks a little weak right now, but we're still putting in higher lows. Let me get rid of my Bollingers for a second. Let's see what we got here. So we're right. Yeah, look at that, huh? Look at that. We're right on our line there. On our shorts, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. We're right there. We can play with this line here. Oh, we have a right. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We have an ascending triangle. Yeah, we have an ascending triangle. It's starting to show its web here. Boom, 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 boom. It should hold here. And if it does hold here, we know we're going to target one more time. So the shorts right now, here, I'm going to go one screen here because this is important. There we go. Let's go this, let's go this. Really got to see this here. Okay, this pattern is holding now, and we have this ascending triangle with a flat top here. Let me make this bolder. And this flat top represents our ATH zone, all-time high zone. Okay, now we find support here, and we can bounce back up to here. And what would cause that? Two things can cause that. Remember, we can still go up in Bitcoin price action. The higher Bitcoin goes, people can start loading shorts at a higher price if overall they actually still believe that it's going to crash and fall. Or Bitcoin is falling and the market sentiment turns very bearish. And then, yes, shorts can even buy into the drop, and we'll continue to buy into the drop. Now, looking at our longs, oops, let me get out of here for a second. There we go. Okay, this bounce is notable, and we were oversold. And we can go up as until since we're breaking through. Look at we're breaking through our 12 and 26 now. So I'm gonna target our 55 EMA as our next stop. If we can keep this momentum going. Interesting. We definitely bucked. Oh, very close, very close. Yeah, right there. So there's our line. We almost, yeah, that's kind of a channel. I'm just gonna draw it this way though for now. Yeah, it's totally a channel. Of course, that's a channel. Let's draw the channel then. All right. So we got this channel clearly. Yeah, it's pretty clear that we've been ranging down on our Bitcoin longs. And let me put that from behind. Boom. So boom, 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 boom. We didn't get as low as our bottom tap here. We actually changed our angle a little bit too. That's notable. So let me do something like that. Yeah, and then we actually touching that, and then I'll put that behind as well. Interesting, interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that. The bottom line is here: shorts still look poised to go higher as long as they can hold. Now, Bitcoin cash shorts. Ugh, this is not a good looking chart. Our longs, Bitcoin cash, Bitcoin longs. Well, longs actually look pretty good. Longs look actually poised to go a little higher here, but very tight equilibrium here. That can take a lot longer. And then Litecoin shorts. What are Litecoin shorts? Okay, so we're back in the triangle. So they're definitely taking this money off the table there. And Litecoin longs. Wow, Litecoin longs are really up there. I mean, they were at all-time highs way back in November. this was the pump. That was the pump. That was the dump. Interesting. Well, Litecoin longs are really strong. What's that? 26. Litecoin shorts are at 10. I mean, there's a big difference here. Something's interesting with Litecoin shorts and Litecoin longs there. Keep an eye on that as well. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin. And let's see here. 15 minutes. All right, I wanted to check out a couple things. So, all right, GBTC. This is OTC traded stock. Closes, opens Monday 9:30. Trades like all the other stocks, and it is traded as a premium to the price of Bitcoin. But we can see a very similar chart, right, to our Bitcoin chart. Very similar. But we also see a breakdown, a very difference of what's going on in Bitcoin. We have a breakdown of our support line here, more or less, that is broken lower. Okay, so we failed to hold support. Now, we didn't crash through, you know, we didn't crash through, but we definitely have broken this trend of holding this area, which kind of coincides to what the Bitcoin chart has looked like for quite a while. And is this a forerunner um, to what I mean, look at that. I mean, is this a forerunner to what we are about to see the price of Bitcoin, where it actually loses its higher low that it's basically maintained since June, right? Where we've still put in our low of the year at 5780 area. So, very similar chart, only BTC is already broken bearish. Bitcoin CME futures closed the week at 63.90. They open tonight at, when do they open? 6 p.m. East Coast time. I'm pretty confident on. That sounds right. And we're going to see if there's a gap. Now, gaps are important. Time frames of the gaps are also important. I don't have any gaps on the 4 hour. Yeah, see, there was a gap here. Look at that, right there. And then this wick filled it there perfectly. This is clean. This is clean. That's clean. That's all clean. That's good. Yeah, so the 4 hours clean. Now let's go to the 1 hour. Let's go back to our auto. And let's see what we have here. We're going back. That's clean. Yep. Good, good. Now we had a big one here, and that got filled on this wick. And this wick must have filled something lower. No, that's good. That was clean. What about down here, right? Now this is the area. And you can't see it on the hourly because that's clean there. But if I go down to the half hour, yeah, there it is. And of course that's not there. Yep. Okay. So 6140 on the half hour chart, CME futures. There's a gap, and I can read that right there between there and there. There's a gap in the price, and this is clean. This is clean. That's tight there, and then that gap. There's a gap here at 63 too. Look at that. Now, did that one already fill? Oh yeah. Okay. So look at there was a gap here, right here, right? But it got filled by this wick, so that gap is clean. And then this gap here was filled by this wick, and this gap there was filled by this wick, and up here, this gap here was filled by this wick here. So these are all clean. So I'm still seeing this gap at 6140, and all this is clean, and all this is clean, and all this is clean, and here we are, and this is where we close the week out. And 6140 in the near term is still the only gap in the half hour. I have to go all the way down to the half hour to actually find a gap that I feel is actually valid and is actually notable that it's still open, which means I'm expecting the price to get down to 6140. Now, normally these things have gotten filled in maximum time, a couple weeks, and it's been a couple weeks since this gap was open right there. 14 days. So, and the reason gaps I feel need to be closed, and this is just historic, is they've all been closed. Every gap that's been opened in recent time to this chart has been closed, and this gap at 6140 on the CME futures chart is notable. There's potentially open contracts in that price range that it's skipped over. The chart likes to fill these. It's a natural effect, but it's also a price action effect that happens. And the fact that they've all been filled, especially at higher time frames or hourly or 4 hour especially, is notable. Now, whenever we see one on our 4 hour, we know it's going to get filled. Whenever we see one on our hourly, we know it's going to get filled. We have one here on our hourly at 67.15. Okay, I'm like, is this one really going to be filled? It seems like it's so hard to get there when we were all the way down here. But look at this wick. It took 16 days. And this wick here to fill this gap here. But it happened. It happened. And so shall thee at 6140. So note that and keep that in the back of your head as we watch our price action in Bitcoin. Oh, look at this. All right, so look at this. Finex here is at 64.75, and Coinbase at 64.01. So we're only $74 arbitrage, and that's the best we've been in since we had our FUD. Our FUD. Yes, let's talk about big picture. Go to my weekly here. Okay, big picture, and I want to talk about a couple things. So, look at 2018. Okay, we basically run from our bottom in 17. 2018. Okay, 9,000% almost. We've come back 70% so far. Okay, people talk about the fib retrace of 78. Where are we here? Now, where we put our 78 based on where we start, it's subjective, but there's more or less consensus. We're in the 4,000 area, right? 43 up to 47 maybe. And we're at 70 here. But we have to understand that so much of this upper price action, there was so little money in here. Okay, we have to go to just this year of the after fact to see all the money come into Bitcoin, and we see these gaps of little money flow in our 4K range, especially right here, this window. And I've tweeted about this many times. Get back here, right there, between 56, 54, and as low as well, I can go lower there, right? Oops, like 42, 43. Yeah, 47, 43. And a lot of that just has to coincide with this moment here of price history, literally between August and November. Really a year ago. A year ago, we had one of the most amazing months of October, and we had this huge green candle with very little correction. Okay, very little correction. Just kept going, 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 and that's a gap. That in itself is a gap because it's an untested gap of a real support. Can't really see it here. There we go. This guy right here. Okay, now we've been holding the retrace of this candle we had in November, which brought us to that 57 area, which is where we actually found our another low right there, and we hit it in June. But under that, we go all the way down to $4,700, solid really, even 46 area, before we actually find our next area of major historic support. Thank you. And that's notable. We have to keep these things in mind. Also, we have to keep in mind is our major EMAs and MAs on longer term time frames. Get rid of that. Okay. Look at our MA50 right here, 5622. Okay. Our MA200 is still under 3K. It's still under 3K. Now, we broke through it in 2014. Okay. Remember we broke through it? Didn't we break through it? We did. Here and here. This is the weekly. Okay. But we also touched it. Okay. We also touched it. We're still $3,000 above it still. We also broke through our MA100, right? These are going to cross, right? Our MA50 is way up here still at 8,700. This is going to fall a lot quicker too. 50 weeks back. 50, so that's 50. Oh, look at that. Wow, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, about another month. And that MA50 is going to start to plummet. That's interesting. So we got to keep these things in perspective. There's a whole new history of Bitcoin that can be written, that will be written if we break the 6K area. Okay, a lot of history yet to be played around here. Now, a lot of bounces will happen as well. And as traders, we like to take advantage of volatility, right? We like to take advantage of these moments where we have extreme volume and areas moves outside of the standard deviation on short-term and longer-term time frames. That's where we use our indicators, our RSIs, our stochastics. We look for divergences. We look for extremes oversolds. Look at our Bollinger Bands. Let's look at Ethereum. So our weekly, remember we close our weekly today, so we got to look at our weekly charts just as much as we look at our daily charts. Look at this super tight. I mean, look at this doji, this cross, incredibly tight body. Oh my God, look at that. That's crazy. Let's play around with this. We get going here. Yeah, look at that. Right? I mean, coming to it right there. Remember when we were at 167? Who bought the blood down here on that high volume? That was a good. This is the weekly. It's a good looking candle there, right? We found our momentum, and we've retraced and found support at our 786, right? 3 weeks ago, 186, and we bounced from that. Nice little bounce, nothing huge, but and we're still ranging. And look at, we're kind of out of room here. You know, we can definitely go one more week. We can definitely go one more week, but really not. We had the running room for this week. We don't have much running room left. This is probably going to happen next week, whatever the move is. Look at that. We can't get any lower on our volume, right? I want to look at Litecoin real quick, and then we'll look at a couple other things about the coin market cap. We're looking for this chart Litecoin, looking for the comparison. Is it telling us anything about what's going to happen with Bitcoin? Remember, we're just below all our VMAs here. Our Bollingers are tight. We haven't touched our lower one yet. It's 41. If we break bearish, remember our weeklies 41 lower BB. Let's go back to our daily. Oh, daily's so tight right now. $8 differential. Now, one thing of note is I should say normally, but when we touch our lower BB and we break it, we tend to then eventually touch our higher BB first before we touch our lower again. Boom, 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 boom. We haven't touched our upper BB yet, right? So there's room to get up there again, but for that to happen, we kind of bust through all these EMAs. As Bitcoin, that would totally bring it to $5,600. Maybe a wick up. But are we kind of retest our lower BB again at 49? Remember our low for the year, $47. We break that, we can go a lot lower. All right, I want to look at CoinMarketCap. Let's refresh. Once again, I want to thank 76 of my closest friends hanging out with me on Sunday afternoon. What's up, Quincy Lane, Massimo, Long Range Crypto, Bean. Thanks, John Boss Woloff. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Couple more things I want to talk about. What else we got here? Okay, so market cap 209 billion. Still hanging on there. Look at our volume. Look at 24-hour all of crypto volume. All of crypto. Okay, it's under 10 billion. That's so low. Bitcoin dominance 53.7. Bitcoin volume 3.5 billion. And that's pretty consistent on what we've been seeing for days now, Now, this was our tether. This was all that tether right here, October 15th. So an extra $4 billion of tether. They bought Bitcoin with it, and they liquidated that Bitcoin into cash. And then the volume went back to normal, which for Bitcoin, it's in the low 3 billions now. Market cap just still hovering around 112 billion. It's incredibly low volume. Suspect. Look at a couple things here. Top 10 coins on this date: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Stellar, Litecoin, Tether, Cardano, and Monero run at the top 10. Tron, IOTA, Dash, Binance Coin, Neo, Ethereum Classic, NEM, Tezos, Zcash, and VeChain round out the top 20. What will this list look like in a month, in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year? What will these valuations look like in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year? What else? Let's go back to Bitcoin for a second. Check out what's going on. Let's go low time frame. Let's go to the 30-minute. Check out a couple things here. So, we're dead stick. RSI dead stick. Stoke stuck. I mean, nothing going on here. OBV with a nice little rise here on our lower time frame. Still lower lows. Kind of looks rising wedges, though. Chuck of money flow is, oh, look at that. Bloop, bloop. Look at that. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, weak, right? Weak. It's weak. Now, last time we did find support in this area, we actually had a bounce there, right? We got low. This is really low. Once again. But even with that bounce, what do we get? We got 393 to 415. We got $25 bounce out of that little move there. It's just nothing. On Coinbase, I know Coinbase, but yes, there's enough volume here now because it's the price, it's the price of value right now. I'm really not judging the the volume all around is just bupkis. I mean, you're not really. I'm not looking at these candles more than that. Let's go to the 4 hour. Let's see what we got here. So we are. We got an hour left on this 4 hour here. So we have this. What do you call this? Dragonfly. 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 Inverse dragonfly. Almost like a pin bar. Now we're got this. This is an hour left, and this could be an interesting candle here actually, because look at these. Look at these looks here. Yes, we've had our two tweezers here. This is our 4 hour. Nice little tweezer bottom here on the 4 hour there. Okay, but look at our. Oh, that's probably gonna have an ankle there, right? Now look at our consistent resistance here. So we're just so tight in our angles right here. Oops. 4. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this can take us into tomorrow. This will definitely take us into tomorrow in this wedge here. Now remember, when not wedge, triangle. When we break, okay, we can do there's a couple things that could happen here. Let's kind of play this out a little bit. Where is this guy? So we can come down and break, all right? And we can shoot up. Or we can break out, back test, and then shoot up. Or we can go out and keep going because we have some crazy money coming in. Or we could come out and then fall apart. Okay? So there's going to be initial volatility when a bigger move begins to happen. And what's going to happen is you kind of have, I mean, I just assume there's going to be one more dip taking us down to touch this lower line here, which again, this is no money here. This is just $5-10. There's nothing about these tightness here that's going to really make a huge difference. The signal we're going to look for, okay, is really increased volume on lower time frames. It's just going to start coming in because there's going to be a perception that hands are loosening. Hands are loosening if you're holding, or hands are about to explode because they feel we're about to run it. Okay, and I'm still not seeing a major change in our shorts and our longs to facilitate that. We could go sideways days longer. We really could. Okay, some altcoins have had a chance to move, obviously, the past couple weeks. We haven't seen the follow through. The bigger story, I still believe, is the U.S. equities, right? The U.S. equities is going to show us the real strength of our economy and what's really going on, because we took a bath last week. S&P, right? We talked about breaking these areas. Was I on the daily or the weekly on that one? I guess it was the weekly. I put a tweet on this. There we go. About, outside of our lower BB, last time we did that, had a nice little bounce above and actually put in a lower low until we actually crawled higher. So this is a big move here. We see where our MA 100 and 200 are way farther down. Look at our Dow Jones. Okay, we're still seeing, this was a great run. It ran up the entire upper BB, had a lower BB touch, ran up again. And we haven't touched our lower BB yet, so that takes us down to 24, lower 24s. You know, you break that over. So remember, there'll be oversold bounces, but our MA 100 and MA 200 are still a lot lower. They were tested the last time in 15 when we broke bearish, found our supports, and then rode it up. Remember, and this is the also election based too. You could see some things begin to open up after the election. All right, guys, I think that's a good place to stop for the day. If you liked this video and had a fun time joining me today, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, and I really appreciate that. Remember, you guys can follow me on Twitter, and I'm gonna keep you guys posted through the week, right? Because there's some serious stuff about to go down. I feel in the price action. You know, as traders, we definitely like that. We like to see good movement in our price action. That gives us advantages to trade. Okay, but until we see a trend change where profits. Where if you're up and along, you're not basically cashing out. Where you're holding on to your longs because you feel you can go higher. Until that trend changes in Bitcoin, the Bears, I feel still really have control. You have to ask yourself where is this money going to come into when it feels that there's a basically the selling is dried up and only going higher from there. This market is about conviction right now. This market can be news driven, but it's also about faith and conviction and valuation. And I don't feel the big money's kind of come in until they feel that Bitcoin's a value, you know, a value price. And until we touch our lower EMAs and MAs on a longer term time frame, which we have yet to do so, um, I feel that big money is going to continue to wait on the side. Okay, so we are hours away. We have about 4 hours and plus away from our daily chart and away from our weekly candle close. So I'll update you guys later this evening on how the day closes, how the week closes. And until then, these are going to be things we're going to continue to keep an eye on. All right, so Bitcoin is a heartbeat. All you guys need to do is trade the pulse. Keep an eye on these candles here. Watch for volume. Volumes could tell our story of which way we're going. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the longs and shorts as well to see if they're loading in either direction. All right, guys, until then, stay safe. Talk to you soon. Big Chonis. Signing out. Peace.